following presentation is a BDRP classic. Hope you enjoy. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to The Late Show. I'm your host, D-Doss. Tonight, I'm joined with Mr. Barry Brown, a good friend who was a subscriber, Barry Brown's Construction, who said he wanted to go down into Brown Springs. We chatted back and forth a little bit, and lo and behold, he got to have his first experience in an active area. I'm very, very proud and honored that I could help that come to fruition for him. So, Barry, without further ado, why don't you tell the folks what you think about Brown Springs?
Well, I was a little bit, I would see when I got there, I wasn't sure. And, I really didn't know what to expect. Almost, as soon as we walked in there, almost right off the bat, we started getting footfalls on either side of us. And,
right.
It almost started almost immediately, but it was scary or any of it. It was.
This is when we went over to the. I'm sorry, Barry. This is when we went over the cemetery. We stopped there first, just to let you folks know.
This was the cemetery, and it was the whole time we were in the cemetery, we were getting a little bit here and a little bit there. The large tree knocks, which they kind of like a giant woodpecker, really.
Yeah.
Lower than a woodpecker. It didn't have that sharp sound. And then after, it really, a fence post hitting a hollow log.
Right. The heavy activity was when old Tex was wandering through there.
You got a rock thrown behind you. I guess what you might call a peaker, or kind of, I guess, southeast.
The peaker. Was that when
looking around, telling me to come look over your shoulder, and it was
okay. Yeah. The one that was a little bit behind that tree. I think it was on its belly, pushing itself up on its front legs.
What it was doing, but it looked like. At first, when I was looking at it, because I was standing probably, feet behind you, and it kind of looked like a stump beside that tree, and then it would disappear, and then it would reappear and disappear. So
that's why, that's why I wanted you to
exciting.
look at it, because I thought maybe I was tripping out, because a lot of times they do look like stumps. That one of the teenager I got where you could actually see him chewing, that's the only reason I zoomed in on it. I wasn't thinking Sasquatch. I was like, man, that's weird. That tree stump has a face.
Right. And then, after we heard the big tree knocks twice, and then what it sounded like put together, which was
extremely
really weird. And whatsoever.
Me and Tex were talking about that. It would have to be like, I don't know, man, like pretty high winds to have made that sound, right? Like,
yes, very high winds would have. I can kind of relate it to being out on the lake, and when you're around a stumpy area and two stumps are kind of rubbing together with the waves and making that squeaking sound. Similar to that, maybe.
Right. So, did you get your picture? Because he's smart. Barry took out a 35 millimeter film camera. Did you ever get those developed by any chance? That's what I'm really
saying. There's no place around me that'll do 35 millimeter in 1 hour or overnight. So it's going to be Sunday or Monday before I get my film back.
Oh,
I was a little disappointed in that, but as soon as I get it back, I'm going to get it to you.
Because I'm pretty sure you snapped a couple over my shoulder when we saw that peaker.
Yes, I did. And then when we went kind of down the hill over by that Lovelady Lake, where we were standing by the barbed wire fence, you and I had talked about that today. I saw probably maybe 60 feet away, maybe that far, kind of down a hill, I could see a tree shaking. shaking, and I was looking at the other trees around it, and nothing else was shaking. And there was no wind. And it wasn't like, when.
See, I was a little bit ahead of you when you got to see that. I didn't get to see it from your perspective, which sucks.
And I just kind of followed where it was shaking down to the top of the foliage, What looked to me like possibly the top of a head. It was probably about the size of a basketball, but reddish brown, spiky looking hair. That's what it looked like to me. My camera.
We should have crossed that barbed wire, dude.
We should have.
I was thinking about it hard, man.
I really wanted to, but it said no trespassing, so.
Yeah, well,
never know.
I can't read.
Kind of doubt. But as soon as I and looked through the viewfinder, it was gone.
That's ridiculous.
That quick, and I'm thinking, man. You hear a lot of people talk about blob squatches. Why didn't you get a good picture of this, or why didn't you get why don't you get a better camera? It's not a matter of getting a better camera, I don't think, or trying to take a better picture, because they are so elusive and they can disappear so quick in the shadows and in the.
I'm glad you got to witness how they move.
But it was most definitely there was something there. I didn't get they're not gonna and say, hey, let's take a picture of me.
And if they're doing something like that, then they're going to do something immediately afterwards that you're not going to like.
Right. I truly believe that. They were. They may have been letting you know that they were there because of the rock that was thrown at you, but from what I could see.
And I'm glad you said that. A lot of people take the rock throwing thing as some sort of act of maliciousness or violence. Yeah, you really have to read the situation as it occurs, in my opinion. Because it's just like you said, I think they were trying to get my attention.
Exactly. They may have been trying to distract you. Maybe Tex was.
That's when Tex, yeah.
Tex was behind you when that happened. Behind both of us. He was farther up in the cemetery.
Again, in 2017, activity of cryptids happening directly in front of us while Tex pushes into the cemetery. Cryptids are not ghosts. Yeah, he was pushing it deeper into that cemetery pretty fast.
And I think they were just kind of that. I think that may have been a distraction, so they could move. It's hard to say.
That's a pretty fair assessment of it, though. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hey, everybody! I'm in chat with you guys now. Wow, thank you, Drummer Forever, for the super chat. It's very generous. Awesome. Yeah, man. Wow. But I'm glad you guys could join me. This is the gentleman Barry I was telling you guys about, who I have the privilege and the honor of taking squatching for his very first time. That kind of stuff, like with Tex as well, Mrs. BDRP, anybody. If I could take somebody out into the brush for their first time and they actually hear or see something definitive, that's like 8 Christmases rolled into one for me. I can't explain it. And yeah, that was a fun day. Bill Lockett rolling the floor, Mike G, Sean Z Beats, Todd Wyndham, Yeti's uncle. Good to see you, brother. Famine 52, The Future, Brown Dwarf, Black Eyed Kid, Bokta Peter, my boy, Drummer Forever 69, Lindy Smith, Pete Eaton, Jeremy McKinney. Wow, this is a bunch of y'all. Thank y'all all for joining me. So you were excited enough that you want to come back.
yeah. I mean, it was like Christmas Day for me. You know, it's that was one of the probably the best adventure I've ever had in the woods. And I've been in the woods most of my life. You know,
No kidding.
Hunted quite a bit from since I was about 8 years old on. You know,
And that means a lot.
it was an adventure. I enjoyed it thoroughly. You know, like I said, I've been in the woods a lot, and I've never heard anything or seen anything like that in the woods hundreds of times. Phenomenal. What I saw just blew me away. I was in awe the whole day of what I was seeing, what I was hearing. Didn't get as many pictures as I wanted because of that. You know, I was just taking it all in. You know, it was very new to me, and
of course,
very exciting. It was very exciting. I mean, and yes, I'm looking forward to the next outing and more pictures next time for sure.
Well, I told you, man, you're more than welcome, and I don't say that to just everybody. I very picky about who I go out with. Speaking of that, today or this evening, I was telling you I got to go out. I think Bill was in here, Mr. Bill Lockett, and talk about a good mind for the brush. This guy, like, it felt like I was going out with an extension of myself. I didn't really get to spend that much time out with them this evening because, you know, me and Mrs. BDRP have a understanding. And I actually got to go to 2 locations this morning. I went back up to Lake Murray in my hometown. Somebody else told me that they had a sighting. They were afraid to tell anybody. They heard about the YouTube channel and shot me an email. The same place where I got an occurrence, you know, a month or so ago, there was another sighting. And the people up there are really, really nice and helpful. Plus, it's my hometown, you know, so it was pretty cool. I just went and took a look around. I saw one tree break. But to me, seeing just something like that, as opposed to, you know, going over there into my main research area and all, you can see all the structures and whatnot. And my battery went dead. Okay, when I got over there with Bill, and he gave me a brand new one. He hadn't even used it fully charged before he got there. Gave it to me, and it had like 1 bar left, and it died on me within 5-10 minutes. Yeah, I think I was telling you about that too. But
yeah. But
I like the way you handled yourself in there, though, bro.
And thank you for taking me out there, man. And it was
no, thank you. Plus, we got to eat some good home. I told you, man, the only promises I make are we can go out in the brush and then you'll get a good home-cooked meal. Mrs. BDRP did her thing for us. I won and carried on until I got me some eggs.
Yeah, the lasagna was great, too.
Yeah, well, I had a little column A, a little column B. So what did you think of the main research area?
The main research area, and when we first got there, you know, and we got to what you call the first threshold, you see beer cans laying around where people have gone down there and partied, you know, and
right.
Really anything different. But then when we went deeper in there and went to that first nesting area, it was, I'm not going to say ominous. Like Tech said, it felt void. You know, sort of like, I don't know, it's a really old enchanted forest, maybe. It had that kind of feel to it to me. Not a scary feeling, but just a different, you know, it was almost like walking into the Twilight Zone. It was like a different world.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's like you don't have to get that far in there before that feeling overwhelms you. To me, it was an ominous feeling. Like, and I think you kind of know why. Like, you were standing right next to me when I saw that the big boy structure had been swept aside. You know what I mean? And
oh yeah. I mean, we were walking forward, and you stopped dead in your tracks, like just like you'd walked into a wall. Whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, I looked around. I looked around to get my bearings, bro. But I mean,
you looked like you were trying to figure out if what you were seeing was really what you were seeing. And I guess that's what you were feeling.
And it's an old picture. I got to look it up, but I'll send it to you, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's the upside down pyramid structure, and you could see where it was snapped off. All that thing did is snap it, fit it in between those two branches, and wedge it down to where it was pretty level to make the top part of the upside down triangle. And I don't believe that anything in there could have done. That's how I came up with that hypothesis that the crazy feeling that I got, the uptake in activity and the new creatures. Bill and I went through there earlier. It did look like there was a lot of activity. We found berries. The skin on them was really bitter, but the inside sweet. And we must have just ran them off with their snack.
I saw some berries on the ground when we were standing. Little purple berries, and then there were some kind of yellow, green looking berries too, I guess.
Right. Yeah, well, these were fresh. We must have just missed them.
Right. And I mean, it didn't look like they'd fallen out of the tree because there was like a little clump of them.
And those were on bushes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
those particular berries.
Those particular berries are on vines, and where we were standing was in the trees. There wasn't vines around that area. And I was looking up in the trees to see if it might be falling out of the tree, and I was kind of confused about that. And I really didn't think about that until just now.
Huh.
But where I saw them, there was nothing around us but trees, and the foliage was way up high.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I missed that, I guess, but they're definitely in there.
When we were there, I was just kind of looking around on the ground, just to see what I could see, and I happened to notice all of it, just like a little, maybe a big handful of purple berries, and I was looking around, I was thinking, well, where did these come from? I really just kind of dismissed it at that time. I thought, well, I don't know, I guess they fell out of there really wasn't vines in the trees like that.
Yeah. Well, was it just like the discarded skin on them?
No, they were whole berries.
Huh. So it's not like they gathered them and put them there.
Well, either that or maybe when we first came in there, we disturbed them. And they just dropped what they had and moved out,
Yes, Bill and I were pulling in. I thought I saw one standing at the tree line, and it's the difference between looking at a giant man-shaped shadow and discerning. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, because these things blend in ridiculously well. That's kind of what we were talking about when we went in there.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's hard to discern them from the actual shadows in the foliage, Trees. It's the canopy is so dense,
Absolutely.
And
what made you decide that? Because I am pretty crazy, and if I was listening to me, not knowing DDoS, okay, here's this Bigfoot show, I'd say, man, this guy may be playing with the cart or too, short. He's going into this place by himself, no weapons and whatnot. What made you decide to trust me enough to venture in with me? Something I didn't ask you that I was curious about.
Okay. I've been a believer since I was about 10 years old, and then I found your show, and I went ahead and subscribed because some of the deals some of the things that I watched on and the interviews and stuff, the more I watched, the more intrigued I was, and I really liked presenting your the information you had and all the, you know, because I'm videos and everybody's talking through their videos and explaining this and explaining that.
Yeah.
Video. You just walk through and on film decide for themselves. Well, you know,
Right. Because I mean, like a lot of people that do that, they're great guys, but then you'll see, oh well, you're leading people's eyes to it. If it was something to be seen that was out of the ordinary, then it would just pop out. And and I mean, I'm in there by myself, and like I've tried doing that a couple of times. It felt weird, kind of. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It's kind of like you're talking to yourself.
Then I like to keep my senses open. Like that was the most talking I've probably ever done, even with someone.
Right. But and you know, the more I watched your show, you know, and saw how you treated your audience, the woods with respect,
Yes, sir.
and the fact that you're brave enough, more than 99% of the people, to walk in there without a gun and just do your thing, you know. And
Right.
I thought, man,
I appreciate that, man.
one of the days, I can't remember which one it said. You said, you know, if you want to come down here, I'll take you down there. So I sent you an email, you know. I thought, well, I'm going to see if he will take me down there. And if you got back in touch with me, I had said, put a few comments, you know, on some of the comments.
Right.
And you, every time you immediately answered me back, you know, and had.
I do my best.
We were getting a pretty good rapport with each other, you know, so I thought I'd get in touch with you and, you know, and after talking
it gets
to
hard
you
sometimes.
a few times,
but
you know, I actually talked for several hours before I even got to meet you. So.
Oh yeah. When I was going, I think I was down in Fort Worth. Like I talked to you basically all the way there. We got into some of the other things that I'm interested in. You know, the conspiracy type stuff.
Well, I mean that and some of the shows that you've had, some of the things you talked about, and the ideas that you have with mine, you know, and the thoughts that I've had, and I just thought, well, once in a while I might have a thought that might open his mind a little bit. You gotta, I try to listen to everybody and come up with my own conclusions, you know, and because you get a little bit more information from it, it kind of expands your knowledge too. And
I'll tell you, the main two people that I talked to that helped me out in this thing was Mr. Robert Dotson and, of course, Kirk Stokes. Without those two, I'd be pissing in the wind. Pardon the analogy, pardon my French, but there was times that even my own wits and deductive reasoning skills, there's some things that I just couldn't deduce. They made no sense that these creatures were doing. And I call up old Kirk. But yeah, they said that you're breaking up a little bit. And I'm hearing it just a tad. It may be worse on the playback for them.
It might be my signal.
Oh, okay. I got it. A little bit. You can still hear it. But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Looks like Tex joined us too.
I am here.
What's going on, Top Gun?
Not much, brother. How's it going?
It's going whether I want it to or not.
Yeah, it's hard to stop it once it starts rolling, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Barry, how the hell are you, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Tex?
Man, I'm good. Brother, I had a freaking blast when we went out, man. I appreciate you coming up.
Oh, man, I did too.
Like a 10-year-old kid wandering off, and he's the one that caused all that activity because, like, we call him back over there and turn around, he'd be walking towards us, and as soon as we turned back around from where the noise was coming from, like, He'd be walking back towards the cemetery.
Yeah, I think we may have started him up a little bit, Tex.
I'm telling you though, that is no joke. That's probably the funnest time I spent in there. I didn't think I was being very productive, but I did have a hell of a lot of fun.
Well, I tell you what, we got a lot of activity.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was just absolutely amazed that we started hearing stuff, you know. And I don't think Tex and I heard the hill going to the cemetery. You said you heard a wolf, you know, right there, about halfway.
Yeah, it was one of those deep, guttural type grunts.
Yeah.
Wasn't anything
we were
like
a little
aggressive.
bit. We were a little bit in front of you at the time too.
Right. And like we were all spread out when they threw that rock. I heard it bounce. I heard it hit the ground and bounce. And I mean, it was like right behind me. And when we start moving that way, it's like we pushed them back over there past that barbed wire.
Yeah, and then like today, you pretty much confirmed today that what I saw was really what I saw, because you said you saw something reddish or fawn colored direction.
When I took that picture,
right?
When I took that picture, that because Tex is the one that found that big alpha in it, but when I initially stopped to take that picture, I'd seen a reddish brown one there on the side of the road. You know how it's thick, like right off the road.
Right.
I'd seen like a flash of red and brown, so I pulled in there, got the big boy on film.
Yeah, when Tex sent that comparison picture where I was standing holding that stick up,
something else, ain't it?
Me a couple of times. That thing is monstrous.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
I definitely have to get that thrown up on the channel. My computer is not cooperating the way I'd like it to.
You know, where I was standing on top of that log, it kind of goes down a hill a little bit there. When I first stepped on it, I had to step back down and get my balance. Look back at that tuck. It looks like he's standing a little bit deeper up in there. So
yeah, he's not as close to the he's not as close to where people park.
No, and he was a little bit behind where I was standing too, and which is kind of down a hill more. So I'm saying this thing is at least 12 foot tall or bigger.
Oh yeah,
at least.
That's so crazy.
You know, look at it, and to my head, from ear to ear, 2 foot across the head. 2 foot. It's almost how big that thing is.
You know, I didn't even really think about it being a downhill slope, you know, because it's going uphill when you get on that trail, and that trail's right next to it.
Yeah, but see, when I kind of makes a little dip right there, and where that log that I was standing on, right behind it and up against that other tree is an old log that's probably under or better. That's laying on the ground. Looks like somebody 6'1", and I was standing on a log almost a foot off the ground. So there's 7'1", and I had about 4 foot of that stick up in the air.
And that came up to about his chest.
His head, that was about his shoulders where the top of the stick was. So, yeah, I'm going to say he's above 12 foot tall.
Well, I always said that 10 foot was a conservative estimate. You know, people didn't even want to believe that. But Eric, you know, buddy from Texas, adamant lifelong hunter, when he saw that one and we figured out that was the hunting ground just right across the river, I mean, it kind of put it in perspective for people, you know. Seeing Queen Jay said that there was a couple killed down there under suspicious circumstances. It was actually just a woman. That's one of those ones that what do you call it? You tell, like when we were in grade school, you tell a kid next to you a secret, and then it goes around the room. By the time it gets back to the last one, there's tigers and unicorns and all sorts of stuff involved.
Yeah.
But there was a young lady that was killed down there. But who knows? There probably was a couple. I mean, Brown Springs has a pretty infamous history of, it was a dumping ground for the Dallas mob, the Dixie Mafia. The Red River used to be one of the biggest slave routes for the slavers, bringing them in on boats like to the plantations on the west of the Mississippi. So Lord knows what was taking place there in the, you know what I mean? Like Texas Rangers murdering people, like murdering outlaws in those woods. It's haunted as hell. I don't like going to that cemetery too.
Not to mention the cemetery was an Indian burial ground at one time. So
right,
that place is a lot of history.
How crazy is it that I said I was going to take that picture and that red orb showed up?
Oh, that was, you know, the picture that you took was pretty close to right at the same time you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much right on the money.
Man, I'm telling you, the whole time going through there, it felt like there was a presence with us. It was weird. I didn't say nothing at the time because I didn't want to get the willies. Piss on going to that graveyard, though. You can have it.
I'll take it.
I know you will. Thinking about going back there tonight, man, with the way the activity's been.
What are you going to do if your tribe or family pod or whatever you want to call it has moved to the cemetery area?
Well, that's what I got to figure out.
Right, but I mean, this is just hypothetical, but if that's the case, or
well, I mean, that's a good question. It's not really a fear, it's a respect thing. Those old native cemeteries, like.
I definitely understand that. You know, I mean, it's.
But yeah, I mean, I'm studying that tribe, so I'd have to, if I can find definitive evidence that that's the tribe that I started off studying, that definitely is the alpha male, and they've all moved over there, then yeah, I'd have to move with them. Either that or kill the new alpha male.
Right.
That's another show, dude.
And for anybody who listened to that one earlier, I'm just joking, all right? I ain't gonna kill one of those things. I couldn't if I wanted to.
Well,
I'd have to have a Navy SEAL team to go in there.
I think he'd take out most of a Navy SEAL team too.
Bro, let me tell you, that teenager that don't like me, the one that's about my height, twice as wide, I think it would take out a team of very, very trained men, like dribbling a basketball.
Oh yeah, I mean, from what I saw, they were very stealthy as to not let us see them, even though they were, they were there because you could hear them.
We were right on top of them too. We pushed them pretty hard.
We were completely surrounded on all sides.
You think so? I know there was some behind us. I don't like thinking about that.
Maybe not so much back towards the northwest, but then, you know, when we were coming up the hill, I heard movement on the right hand side and the left hand side. So
yeah,
they were kind of all around us, you know. And then when we went up to that fence row, it was really, I saw what I think was one of them's head.
Right, and you saw that tree shaking over there on the other side of that barbed wire.
Yeah.
Man, I think that they may have surrounded us because we were pushing them. So I never push them like that. You know what I mean?
I'm curious.
He was zombified.
I'm curious as to why they acted like they didn't want me going the direction I was going. That's
I thought about that too. Yeah, they didn't bother us at all that last time. And I mean, we heard the same knocks, not as adamant, not as many, but yeah, the further you were pushing over there and we were behind you, the more activity we were getting there behind us.
Man, I'll tell you what, we started having, you know, of course we got the wood knocks, you know, and then we got the woodpecker on steroids, and then that tree rubbing thing that was just strange as hell. And then when we had the rock clacking in like 3 different locations.
Right.
I forgot about rock clacking. That's
There's wood knocks too in a couple of different locations.
Right.
What amazed me is, my first time out and witness and hear everything that I've seen and heard on people's videos everywhere, all over the country and all over the world.
Right.
But, the rock being thrown at you, the rock clacking, what I consider peeking out from behind the tree.
Yep.
That was something. I mean, it wasn't there by the time text got back to us and we started pushing back that way, but you could see it was something low to the ground, peeking its head back and forth. I mean, skunks aren't very still.
It was very obvious. Well, a skunk's not going to do that. I mean,
yeah, possum or anything else.
If they see a human, they're going to go in the other direction unless you corner them,
Right. Bill Lockett went in there earlier. He was in there for a little bit. He went to the cemetery, and I think it's when he left the cemetery, he said he looked down the road and said he thought he saw what he thought was a hog. But when he went down there and looked at the footprints, they were canine footprints.
Yeah,
he took a picture of it. I think he may throw that on Facebook. I'll see if I can get it incorporated in this video. I don't know what happened to the batteries on this camera, but yeah, mine was fully charged or halfway charged. It didn't turn on whatsoever. He gave me one of his that was fully charged that he charged before he left the city, and I mean that one didn't work.
Did he say about what size those tracks were?
I don't want to misquote him. He said it was about 50, 60, 70 pounds, somewhere around in there.
Right.
So, but yeah, he said it looked like a hog. It didn't look like any sort of coyote or dog or anything.
Maybe a dog, because coyotes are usually a lighter color, not a darker color,
But I mean, what kind of dog is going to have like that? I don't know. I was trying to think like what dog could you mistake for some hog out there,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not like he don't know what he's looking at, so.
Right. But I mean, he's well, I'm pretty sure he is he knows what he's looking at out there. I don't want to give his official title and get it wrong, but yeah, he's savvy. You know what I mean? Like, but when do you think you'll come back, Barry?
Man, I'm ready to come back tomorrow. I got to work.
Man,
if I live closer, hey,
that'd be awesome. Uh-oh, you're breaking up on us there, Barry.
I said, don't you have something planned this weekend?
I don't know.
Supposed to go up to
we actually, that's next weekend. This weekend is I'm going to spend the weekend with the family and everything. But yeah, next weekend I'm going to get together with Oklahoma Sasquatch, and we're going to go to the Arbuckles.
Okay.
So that should be pretty cool.
But, yeah, man.
Does anybody have any? Yeah, that sounds great to me, man. Well, actually, yeah, I'm gonna spend this weekend with the family, but we'll pick a day. I'll give you a call. And
okay, that'll work. Anytime, I just I've got to do it on the weekends because I got to work during the week. But
right. Well, that's my job, so that'll be my work.
But it's not too bad. It's only 2 hours from my house to your house, so.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Does anybody have any question for either of my guests?
Getting back to your main research area and when the deer ran out, we haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah, Tex and I talked about it. We haven't. You were actually standing there with me when it happened.
Yes, and we had just walked away from that nesting area, and I caught a glimpse of something brown to the left of me, and I thought, holy crap, I'm fixing to see one for real. it turned and started coming right towards us, you know, and it wasn't just walking through the woods. This thing was running through the woods.
Yeah, it was running before it even got to us. You could hear it.
Yes. And then, you know, it kind of, when it saw us, it turned to the left, right, and disappeared. And then heavy shuffling around right in that area.
Right. It sounded like something just shifted itself, like something really heavy shifted its weight.
Yes. Yes.
Now I think about it, we should have went after it. We should have went after that little spike.
Well, that's really when we decided, time to go to the truck. We interrupted somebody's trying to get a meal.
Well, whatever was behind that deer pushing it into us, you could hear movement coming that way. Plus the movement where the deer had turned and like towards where it was. I mean, yeah, that thing ended up being a ham sandwich somewhere.
Exactly, because you could hear movement back behind where it was coming from, and then you could hear movement right there where it turned and disappeared in the brush, pushing that deer.
You realize how close both of those creatures were to us?
What's that?
You realize how close both of those, whatever was chasing it and whatever moved it, like shifted around when it made that V-line and ran towards it. Like that was within 20 feet.
Yes.
But yeah, that's after I saw that structure knocked down. So I didn't want no parts of nothing that was going on in there right then and there. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
I'd yet to wrap my mind completely around that.
Yeah, it was right after you scared the shit out of me.
Do what?
It was right after you scared the shit out of me.
No, that happened before we got in the vehicle. That was up by the truck. When I did that yell.
Yeah, it was right. Yeah, it was right after. Yeah.
I'll make sure I did that. You know, where if need be, we can jump in and haul ass.
I just damn near did that.
Right in Texas ear, and that was pretty funny.
Say it again, Barry.
He did that whoop right in his ear. I mean, he was.
That's what he gets, leaving his phone on that weird ass ringtone that he had going. Almost stroked out right then and there.
But yeah, I gotta hand it to you, man. That's got to be the greatest experience in my life so far, and I'm looking forward to some more.
Well, I sincerely appreciate you saying that, man, and we can't wait to have you back.
Man, I really appreciate you inviting me down there and invite me into your house and invite me into your area.
For sure.
It's a wonderful experience for sure.
Well, thank you for coming, man, and thank you for having testicular fortitude is what we call it down here in the South. Because a lot of people hearing what you heard, they would have wanted to go back to the truck. Like, I mean, you were being shadowed, you didn't shake, like, you weren't worried about any of it. So that was a trial by fire. And I mean, you passed as far as I'm concerned. I really do appreciate you taking time to come down. And I mean, it meant a lot to me that you could get some live action on your first time.
I plan on making it down there several times. You know, I mean, like I said, I want to be part of the team.
Absolutely.
Help you get your information. I'll surely do it.
I mean, you're a ton of help, you know, going through there with me. That, like, more so than you know.
Especially if we can go, especially if every time we go down there we get fed like we did. Damn.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah,
she knows
what you're doing in there. They're complimenting your food. BDRP. That's pretty part of the show.
What I'm cooking. That's awesome.
Yeah, now y'all can tell on everybody talking about DDoS and eggs. That's just not a thing that people say.
Oh hell no. The man passed up lasagna for eggs. Good God, he's not in his right mind. He's not in his right mind, guys.
You can't be in your right mind doing this.
I don't know. I'd been happy with eggs too. That's one of my favorite meals.
Well, y'all missed out.
No, I did not.
No. That's
But
for sure.
next time, man, I'm gonna try to. I got a couple more spots that I want to take you to. Where I saw that upright walking canine creature. I like to take you in there. I mean, it's pretty spooky. But yeah, I'd rather have somebody going in that place. It's
Right.
fairly unfamiliar to me, and it's weird. And gets even weirder really fast the further you get in there.
But it's like all these people that carry guns in with them. After seeing that picture of that alpha male, I could see the only reason to carry a gun is to shoot yourself if he got after you.
Man,
that is the damn truth right there, brother.
if you shot that thing, you just piss it off.
Can you imagine how fast that thing can run? If it took off at a run, it would cover 50 yards in about 2 seconds.
Plus, they drop down to all fours in like that Green Wave 2010 MK Davis channel where he breaks down that stuff, that Paris, Texas footage, which I have a whole lot more of that video. I'm going to try to get going if I can figure out the problems with this computer. It shows a white Sasquatch dropping down to all fours and running, and it propels itself forward. It pushes itself on its front arms and like kicks its legs up parallel with its shoulders, and then like brings both legs down and pushes itself forward. If that makes sense. That's how it runs. It like some weird. I don't know. I've never seen anything move like that, but you're right. It covers a ridiculous amount of ground really, really fast.
That sounds very similar to the way that creature on the Gable film was running.
It's exactly like that. Yeah. Instead of like, it's not necessarily a gallop. It's more, just propelling themselves forward, pushing themselves forward.
More of a leap.
Yeah. A sprinter does when they're coming off the blocks,
Yeah, that thing's, I mean, could you imagine that thing on all four? It'd be as big as a small cow.
Small cow.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's only 10 feet tall and as wide as it is.
That thing's got way close to town.
Yeah, I keep talking about it.
Yeah, we keep talking about this picture. We got to put it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna. That's easy. I was working on Oklahoma Sasquatch footage of that dog, man. But
I was telling Tex that sure it looks. The robots they've got in some of these movies where front of it and the guy climbs in, and it's just a
that's how Gundam suit or something.
Right. It's
Bill Lockett had a good idea. He knows how to play a didgeridoo, and it's the oldest known instrument there is.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and it's been known to draw in all sorts of animals when it is played. So next time he comes down, he's going to bring it, and he's going to we're going to start going early in the morning, just staying all day long. Because just going through there like we did, like if we would have had more time to actually sit stationary, they would have come in closer. There's no doubt in my mind.
With the tree knocks and things, though, I just kind of wonder if you were to take a tom or a bongo, and just
I've heard of people doing that and getting responses.
Right. And possibly even just leave it there. Leave one drum there with a set of sticks later and see if it's still there or.
Well, I was thinking like more of like a tambourine or something. You know what I mean? Because you could hear that bellowing through those woods from a good distance.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, I've been doing it around a year, a little bit over a year. What is this? August. So yeah, over a year we've been going down there. So I think introducing something like that is the next logical step.
But I was thinking too. You were the only one that heard that grunt when we were going up into the cemetery area.
We were in there already, I think.
I thought it was when we were going up, but anyway, that's beside the point. Me and Tex were, so we didn't hear it. But I
Right.
kind of wonder if they were directing that at you because they were familiar with you.
I thought about that too, man.
Animals remember your smell. They remember what you look like. They know the sound of your truck when you drive up compared to everybody else's truck.
For sure. And look how much activity we got there. But when we went over to my main area, like you said, it was void. It was some sort of ominous silence going on. I felt more comfortable. It's crazy to say. I felt more comfortable over there at that cemetery too. So, I mean, I don't know.
But I just kind of wonder if, if they have moved over there, that was just their way of letting you know that they're there.
That's what I was kind of thinking. I mean, if that's the case, though, and seeing like that structure, I can't emphasize that enough, then something's taking place down there.
Too, when Tex was pushing his way towards the back of the cemetery and a rock got thrown at you, maybe that was their way of saying, stop right where you're at because we got a new nesting area down here. We don't want you in there right now.
Could be. Or like you said, maybe they, were waiting until y'all were far enough away from me to get my attention in a definitive way. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Man, I need to go to that cemetery by myself, don't I, Tex?
No, you're not allowed to if I'm not.
Well, yeah. That, and it don't seem like they're too bothered by you, that one, unless he was out napping on the job.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to do an AM show. I really do want to get back down there and see what I can see and get some stuff put up for these folks. But does anybody have any questions before we sign off?
Well, we can go up because we tried to. Wait a minute, we're talking about Friday, me coming up, right?
Whatever's clever, bro. I mean, I'll go down there anytime.
Well, I thought you said you had something going Thursday, but we'll talk about that.
Oh no, not Thursday. But yeah, we'll get that.
We'll figure it
out. Country Girl says tempers and guns don't go together. Yeah, I'd say
that's absolutely true. Absolutely.
I don't see anybody get. I mean, you're going to be experiencing a lot of emotions down in these active areas like that. But I don't know if anger is going to be one of them.
No. I mean, I never felt any fear whatsoever when I was there, but
no.
That might change if you got bluff charged,
No, and yeah, neither did I. It was really weird though over there in that other area. Like, I'm glad Tex said that he was going to pull in backwards because it kind of confirmed it for me. Because I mean, he's just wandering big as life through that cemetery, like he lives there. He's going to his front door or something. Come to Kentucky, I'll take you to Daniel Boone National Forest. The only person taking me into Daniel Boone's King Dogman Kirk Stokes. I mean, no offense, yeah. I mean, but
I'm going to Tennessee in October, so.
Oh yeah.
I will be right outside of Daniel Boone, and I do plan on going.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we can work something out where we just happen to run into each other. But yeah, folks, I'm glad that y'all all could join and hear Barry. I know he's going to be back because he's a part of the team now. I'd like to thank Drummer Forever for awesome super chat. Great guy. Him and his wife actually are going to be on very, very soon. They have 2 tons of stories that they can give you from being on the road. They've seen everything you could imagine. And I'll get this footage up for you guys. Hopefully go get some more, but I think this battery's done for. But yeah, again, thank all the friends and subscribers who joined us for this live chat. And Barry, you're more than welcome to jump back on the AM show if you're still awake.
Okay.
Hey,
Awesome.
Barry.
I do stay up kind of late sometimes.
Hey, Barry. Did you got that film developed yet, or did I miss that y'all talking about that?
I turned it in yesterday, Sunday or Monday before I get it back.
Awesome.
None of the places around here would do a 1 hour photo regular film. So.
Well, they'll do a better job of it anyway if they keep it longer. So
I hope so.
But I mean, he's lucky to find a place. I mean, Walmart and like what Kroger's and places like that's the only, CVS. Those are the only places that really do it nowadays.
I don't think all the CVS anymore.
The days of the what was a Kodak photo things that used to
the
sit out
photo
in
booth, you had to just drop them off and go on about your business. They'd be done an hour later.
used to sit out in the parking lots.
By the time you eat a hot dog and an ice cream cone, they're done.
Yeah.
And or a snow cone stand.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me. I'll get this stuff up for you guys, and we'll talk to y'all in the AM. I appreciate y'all joining us. Y'all are awesome. I'm D. Doss, Mr. Tex, and Mr. Barry. It's the Bigfoot Dogman Research Project. I'll see y'all tonight.